Well, like you heard moments ago, the House of Representatives Ad Hoc Committee on the State of Refineries in the country is angry that despite about $3.5 billion spent on turnaround maintenance, not much has been achieved. While the committee at its Thursday sitting also frowned at the refusal of the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Group Managing Director of NNPC, and the heads of Warri, Port Harcourt and Kaduna refineries to appear before it despite repeated invitations. The committee says from its records, all that needs to be done has been concluded in the 3 refineries and wondered why the facilities are still not functional despite huge public funds invested.
The committee is aware that the NNPC recently awarded contracts for rehabilitation of refineries in the following sums. Warri, $900 million. $900 million. Okay. No, million. $900 million. Port Harcourt, $1.5 billion. Kaduna, $1.3 million. As chairman of this honorable committee, I hereby summon the Group Managing Director of NNPC, the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, and the General Managers of Port Harcourt, Warri, and Kaduna refineries to appear before the committee on Thursday 28 April 2020 to avoid legal, constitutional, and parliamentary measures to be taken against them in order to compel them to appear.
From the information available to us here, all the figures mentioned, the contracts have been awarded, a job completed in our records and in our books. But we are wondering why the refineries are not working. If contracts have been awarded, money paid, and job completed by our books and their books, why are the refineries not working? So they need to appear before us. So Nigeria will hear us and hear them. Then Nigerians will judge.
These are the issues that is in the interest of Nigerians. And if Parliament find it wise to set up a committee to look into the issue, and then the NNPC MD is refusing to appear, it shows that he has something to hide. And it shows he's not working in the interest of the country. And it shows he's sabotaging the effort of the president.
Well, this is not the first time the House of Representatives will be calling on government agencies to appear with the agencies refusing to comply. Will the Minister of State Petroleum Petroleum Resources, or NNPC GMD, and the heads of the refineries honor this last invitation? We'll keep our fingers crossed. In the meantime, we have in the studio a member of the Ad Hoc Committee, Honorable OGHENE EGOH, who you saw moments ago there. He represents Amuwo Odofin Federal Constituency of Lagos State. Thank you so much for joining us on the news tonight to expatiate on this. Well, when you accuse the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources and the person of Timipre Silva of sabotage, what exactly do you mean?
Well, if you look at the budget of the Federation, we budgeted this year is the highest so far, budgeted about 70 billion naira to be spent. Now, this 70 billion naira, the money that is budgeted for payment of petrol, what do you call it, for subsidy is about 4.30 billion. That shows over a quarter of the budget is for subsidy. And don't forget that sometimes when you have 70 billion budgeted, maybe the total income may come to only about 12 billion thereabout. But the amount budgeted for subsidy must be paid. So we may end up using almost half of the budget to pay for subsidy. And I think this is very sad and unfortunate. And that is why the National Assembly is very worried. If the country is going to spend close to half of national budget in actual terms to service the subsidy. And yet 3 refineries are being repaired at the cost of almost $4 billion. And we are not seeing the result Of course, the National Assembly must be worried because these are the people's money that are put into this. And when you call those who are in charge to come and give account, they refuse to show up. Something is wrong.
Well, absolutely, we do agree with you. But I mean, now that you've invited the NNPC GMD and of course the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources to meet Press Silva, they've not. It's been a no-show on their part. And the question we asked: will they show? This time around. But if they don't, do you have an independent, committee or body that can actually, go out there, find out what exactly is the state of these refineries, the true state of the refineries, what's been spent, what's not been spent, and all of that? Because we heard, even from the, minister himself, not too long ago, that about 120 billion has been spent annually on idle refineries. And when you do come out with your findings, what will you do then?
Well, let me say like this. The Warri Refinery, they budgeted $900 million to repair it, which have been paid. The Kaduna Refinery is $1.3 billion. We're not talking about Naira. Then the Petroleum Refinery is $1.5 billion. This money is almost enough to build new refineries. They have been spent to repair old refineries. And up to now, there's fuel shortage in Abuja, Lagos, and the host of other part of the country. And yet, these refineries, they claim they have been repaired, money have been paid, and we cannot see the result. So we are worried. And let me tell you, there are laws in the book that National Assembly can order the arrest of these people.
But are you willing to, explore?
Well, we may have to go the whole hog, but we still want to give them a benefit of doubt. Otherwise, we can submit a report and say, well, this money was fraudulently spent. We cannot see what they did with it. But we want to give them a fair hearing. And they don't seem to be willing to take advantage of this fair hearing we are giving to them.
Doesn't that then question the oversight function of the parliament, which is a cornerstone of democracy? You have the functions instituted in the Constitution for you to monitor, scrutinize, review, and evaluate. So Nigerians will wonder, have you done all of this? Or you just allowed monies to be budgeted and then you're waiting for them to appear? Did you at any stage monitor these refineries after budgeting these monies, approving the budget for them?
Yeah. Now, of course, the various committees went to oversight. And the refineries are very complicated piece of engineering equipment. Okay. You cannot use ordinary eye to determine what the problem is. But the technical experts from NNPC, from the various refineries said they need almost $4 billion to repair this. When you convert that, that is in trillions to repair the refineries. Of course, we as National Assembly, we oblige them so that we don't continue to face petroleum shortage. We don't continue to import fuel with our scarce resources. You can see the naira to the dollar. It's almost 600 naira to a dollar. The economy is in bad shape. So repairing them, when they came with the option to repair, we agreed. Some of us felt that it would have been better to sell these refineries. After Dangote has a refinery, only one that is bigger than all of them. So why are you spending government resources to repair them? It would have been better if they sold them and then private individuals repair them, to avoid corruption, and therefore will be available. But NNPC insisted that it's better government spends money to repair them.
Well, the Press Silva himself has actually said that subsidy has killed the refineries. Do you agree with that position?
Well, we don't know whether there's really subsidy. That's why we are calling them. Come and answer. Where is the subsidy coming from? And if there's subsidy, why should you be up to that amount? And why will you be budgeting for subsidy an amount that is enough to build new refineries? And you keep doing this every year. Something is wrong.
Apart from this question, what are the other major questions that you plan to ask this gentleman when they show?
Oh, of course. We want to find out from them what is the scope of work. We've given them a couple of issues which the chairman of the committee, Mr. Johnson, read out. Some of them includes, let me just look at them here. Appraisal of the current state of the refinery in the country, the 3 refineries, copies of the annual budget on rehabilitation by the refineries, you know, and then also a list of approvals, so fund releases for the rehabilitation of the refinery from year 2012 to date. We want to know how much have been spent on these refineries. A list of all contracts awarded for rehabilitation of refineries and award letters issued to service providers and contractors from year 2012 to date. Actual cost of projects, contracts, and review, if any, stated in naira terms. Work completion certificates issued in rehabilitation projects carried out on the refinery from year 2012 to date. Evidence of payment made for all of such contracts awarded from year 2012 to date. List of service providers and contractors that handled the rehabilitation of the refinery for 2012 to date. So, and any other relevant information. So, we are looking at a lot of information from there so that we can look at it and get technical people to also look at it and evaluate it to see if Nigerians are having value for their money.
Thank you so much. OGHENE EGOH is a member representing Amuwo Odofin Federal Constituency, Lagos. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.